Hey Steve, how are you? Steve, can we hear you today?
What's going on, brother?
Hey, how are you, man?
Good. What a disappointment. Big
Yeah,
points.
big point. We only got 39 points. Not the game we were looking for. I think we played to their level in that game. We're looking up at the Flyers still at 39 points, the Bruins at 43, and the Pens at 50 points. Our next game tomorrow against the Pens. Steve, what do the Rangers need to do to come out with a win tomorrow night after that Sabers game?
What can't just be all Panarin, and you can't go to overtime with a team that didn't really earn it. Krabby a millimeter off of scoring his first, which would have really turned the tides, but you can't be stressing so much in the last few minutes to try to make up for the first 55. I mean, again, it was a really slow paced game. Tage Thompson becomes our new worst enemy, burning us for the second straight game. And you're not so concerned about the points going the other way, but it's like, how many games can we really afford to lose where the other point is going to be really precious down the line? We're tied with the Flyers, and the Bruins have games in hand, so it's not exactly like we're only 2 wins away from really catching them.
Yeah. So let's recap that game. So it started off pretty quick. Um, Power play at 10:22. Taylor Hall hit on Kreider. I was like, up, here we go. We're gonna have an off night with power plays. We've been in the last 6 games, 7 for 22 on power plays. So I wasn't expecting much, but we got a Panarin goal. That's 6 points in 3 games, 17 points in the last 12. Man, I don't know where we would be without the bread man giving us that point every game, boosting everybody he plays with. Doesn't matter who you put next to him, he makes plays happen. Then we had Buffalo tie the game. Casey Middlestat on an odd man rush. Goal on Igor, caught him not looking. Wasn't totally his fault, but definitely could have been stopped with it if we stopped the odd man rush. Then we had another power play. We were 0 for 2, 1 for 1 on the power play. Then we had Victor Olofsson tied the game 2-2, goes to OT, does nothing in the overtime round. Boom, shootout. Tage Thompson, the man, as Steve said before, enemy number one up in Buffalo. And that's how it went down.
So, you go up on a rush play from the power play. It was one of the first power plays where we didn't just like sit in the zone. We talked about it actually after we broke the show last time, that the power play just looks like they're not even moving. They're passing well, but it just looks like they're playing keep away. So this was a power play goal, was scored off of the rush, which you don't really get to see a lot of, and you don't see a lot of that from us lately, it seems like. So one of those points where just putting a puck on net really pays dividends. You got the goalie looking one way and Panarin just roofs it the other way. The 2-on-1 goal, again, like you said, definitely avoidable in our own zone. But then the Olofsson goal, Oposo mishandles that puck. It's a broken play. It's not as if he threw a sleek little pass that decepted the defenders. He just kind of misplayed it, and Olofsson was just unprotected and
He
alone in the
was
slot.
crashing the net, right? He was coming in from the other side on.
Just came, kind of just drifted, almost like Ovi just kind of like pretends he's not there, and you just lose sight of that open man.
Mm-hmm.
Crashed it, slams it past Shesterkin. And we didn't look like we were completely out of hopes. We had our chances. I really like Kako's game again, which I read a lot of people were a little bit disheartened with him taking the shot in the shootout. I think that's a fine play. I think he's been playing with some confidence lately.
I agree, Steve.
And I wish Krabby could have got that one more or less for his sake. I mean, but
plus, if he had
gotten
gotten that, it would have been a different outcome to that game. We would have been at 2 points, finally above the Flyers. We've been creeping with them for a couple weeks now. Another note, I didn't mention Panarin had a second goal. It was another assist to Fox. Great cross ice pass, a usual, I don't want to say a usual Fox special, but He's getting pretty good with those cross ice passes, and then the bread man did what he did best.
Yeah, he's not gonna miss that shot.
Truba, since coming back, has definitely added a different element for the team. He's definitely shooting more, and I think it's rubbing off on the other defensemen. Miller's shooting more at the blue line, keeping the puck in, making plays happen. What really happens is when Truba shoots it, then we're getting the young guys crashing the net, which is that's how you're going to get an opportunity to score in the league.
One of the things about Truba, like if you watched what made him successful on the Jets, was he would carry the puck in deep past the slot line, which scares me a little bit with inexperienced forwards, because the defenseman goes in and you need a forward to rotate back to that defensive slot. And I've noticed a few times when he carries it in along those boards, we sort of get lost in communication, and it leads onto those odd man opportunities. I'd love to see Truba regain that sort of confidence and be able to carry that puck past those dots and drive himself to the net, because he's got a big body and a hard shot. It's just, you need a couple of those to go in to confidence play. But we know he's got a bomb from the point. He can just sort of, if he feels more comfortable, sort of staying back and ripping them. One of the things though, he's been a little lost defensively. It's not the first time I've seen him just sort of like look over both shoulders and all of a sudden there's three guys that are open that can receive the puck. But that's just us having an opinion and not being. I was listening to Brian Leach talk about Adam Fox play the game, and he brought up a good point. You can always see the play happening from our perspective a couple seconds before it happens. It's a lot different, obviously, being out there, and none of us are pros in that regard. But one of the things I'd like to see more from Truba is that defensive side of it, because everyone knows he's got offensive ability. But
yep. So we have the Pens tomorrow. I've read that Igor will be back in net. For them, it's going to be a tough game time decision to see if they start DeSmith again or if they're going to start Jerry. Jerry suffered an injury last week, so they might feel that they're playing a team that is lower in the standings, so it might be a good game to get Jerry back out there. We'll see. I know he's been practicing ice time. So I think this next Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, the next 4 games will really judge how the season, if we are a playoff contender or if we are a young team just looking in right now.
Well, we mentioned last time it was one of the more important games. I mean, again, worst team in the NHL. So we call the trap game that was going to happen. But I'd say this is one of the most important stretches, right? You got 4 games in a row to the teams that are directly above you, and then you got 4 games in a row to the team that's directly behind you. So this is an important swing. You're not exactly too concerned, I suppose, with the points going back the other direction, because it's not against the Flyers or the Bruins. But gee, it'd be really nice to squeak out at least 3 out of 4 against the Islanders and the Pens. And a little bit of it might be getting some luck with the starting goalie decisions for them. Not to say that I'm too confident in anybody but Shesterkin. I mean, say what you will about the soft goals or quote unquote soft goals, but he's been Igor for us, and giving up 2 goals a game at least gives you a chance to win. They always say your goalie gives you a chance to win. That's all he was asked to do, right? So I think it's a little bit more of relying less on just Panarin, it seems like, to score, getting a little bit of that secondary scoring. And if Shesterkin can give you 2 goals or fewer, we have a chance to win these games. So,
well, I read something today. I think one of the Bruins goaltenders has COVID, so who knows how that will affect them in the next week of play. I'd love to see the Pens bounce down, but being 7 points up on the Bruins and a whole 11 on us, I gotta think it's almost a long shot that they miss the playoffs. But coming off a loss from the Bruins, and if we could squeak out a win right off the bat tomorrow, we could maybe get them to drop in the standings, hopefully. So I think that wraps it up for today, Steve.
yeah, for context, Jari's on Joe's fantasy team, so he's really hoping that Jari doesn't lose or actually gets the start. But I'm hoping the other way.
Thank you, Steve.
It's good talking to you, buddy. See you soon.
Talking to you.